Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Math Tutorials. In this video I'm gonna explain everything about the walls in Archicad, how to draw them, how to modify them and how to edit them. Let's learn, practice and share. Today I'm gonna explain the floor plan options and the heights, and we're gonna take a look at these settings that we have here. Let's review some of the things that I explained in the previous video. We have the straight wall, the normal wall that we use a lot in our design. And here, if I want to change the structure, I just go here and pick a normal wall, which is the generic wall. Then we have this type of wall. I'm gonna put it on the generic wall and I go like this with the shift key. I can snap to the y-axis, then shift and shift. Okay. Then we had this one, which it was a room. I'm gonna put 3 by 5. And then had diagonal room, which I can do this 3 meters with the angle of, for example, 25 degrees. I'm gonna enter, and for the length, I'm gonna put 5 meter. I'm gonna put it back to the straight, and then the circular or the curved wall. The second one is a little bit awkward, and the third option is just 1, 2, 3, and we have it. Then we have the trapezoid, which is like this, and then we can change the difference of, and then we can change thickness of the wall like that. Then we had the geometry, which you're free to shape your wall any shape that you like that. So this is a wall. The next thing that I want to explain is a floor plan and section, which we can modify the way that we want to see the walls in our plans. So for example, I'm going to select this. Then I go to floor plan. This one is show on stories. We have different stories, different levels for our project. So for example, this wall, or let's choose some simpler one. For example, this one, on which level do we want to see all the relevant stories? Which, for example, if the wall cuts through the multiple level, we can see it like that, or just only home stories. So it doesn't matter how tall the wall is. We can see it only on the home story. Then we had the floor plan display, which is projected. For example, here, sometimes we have a wall that it doesn't connect to the ceiling. So for example, we have a wall with a height of 80 centimeter. As you see in the display, it's a little bit different from this wall because here we cut through the wall to see the plan. But this means the horizontal cutting plane, it doesn't cut this wall. So we cannot see the inside color here. So I'm going to turn it back to 3 and we have it here. Then the projection, it's a little bit complicated for now. So I'm gonna skip this part. Then we have cut surfaces. It means the horizontal cutting plane that let us see the plan. How do we want to control it? So for example, I'm choosing this wall. We can change the type of line that this wall is shown here. So like that, or like a hidden line. And also, we can, I'm going to put it back here to solid. We can change the colors of the line, and here it's red. I'm going to put it back to the black because this cutting line is the black. Also here we have these lines with different thicknesses. I usually choose this one. The other option that is very useful is override cut fill pens, which change the color of the fill of the wall. We have foreground, background, and both. So I'm going to put it on both so we understand what we are doing here. Now it's a little bit grayish, light gray. I'm going to change it to, for example, orange. And the background, I can put it to black. So here we have a dark orange. The only thing that is important is the foreground color. So the background color, because the background is white, we're going to put it on the white. Or this one is the transparent, and this one is window background. So window background. Uh, and here we can change the color to a darker gray, which gonna look like that. Or we usually put the color of the wall to complete black, the foreground pen to black. And also we can put the background color to black, so the wall will be completely black, and in the plan we're gonna have a very beautiful strong walls. So I'm gonna put it back to the color that it was, and we move on. We have uncut lines and uncut pen, which it means if this wall is like 1 meter, we can select that, for example, if the horizontal cutting plane doesn't cut this wall, we can say show this wall as a dashed line and with a color of like light blue. This uncut wall is shown like this. But if I turn back the height here to 3, the wall turns back to the normal. So again, change these things. I'm going to turn it back to the normal colors. Okay, the good point is we can apply these settings for all types of the walls that Archicad let us draw. Okay, to understand better the next concept, which is linked stories, and bottom and top of the wall, I have to explain something else, which is the stories and floor. How does it work here in Archicad? For example, here, if I draw a section line, which I'm gonna explain in further videos. So if you subscribe to my channel, you will see this video. Here I drew a section. In the sections, I double click on this file. Now we can see our walls and the way this wall cut. I'm not gonna explain what is going on here. I just want you to see the logic of the floors and the stories here in Archicad. Here we have a ground floor, which is 0 of the project. And then we have our first floor, which has 3 meters of height, and the next floor. When you select a wall, here you see linked stories. It means that this wall now it's not linked on the top and on the bottom is on the ground floor. So if I link this to story home plus one, it means this is the home story, which we draw it, and then it means home plus one. So this is gonna be the plus one height. If I linked to this story, and if I change the story height, so for example, if I said this story height is 5 meters, this wall gonna connect to this. So I don't have to go through the project and change all the walls to be connected, to be linked to the next level or floor. So if I turn back this story to 3 meters, automatically all the walls gonna connect to linked to the next floor. But if I here, when I select the wall on the linked stories, I said it's not linked to the next floor. And if I change the story height to, for example, 5 meters, this wall doesn't link to that. So the other walls are linked to the next level, but this one is not. We can do the same thing for the top of the wall for the bottom. The linked story here is 0, which is the ground floor, but we can change this to a different height. For example, I would like this wall to start from 1 meter. From here to here is 1 meter, and the height of the wall is 3. This is the logic of Archicad. So basically, when you draw a wall here on the 2D map on the ground floor, you have this element here in the sections and also here in the 3D view, like that. That's why the Archicad gives you the option to select and modify all the parameters of an element. The next setting is wall thickness. I also mentioned it in the previous video, but let's talk about it again. So the thickness of the wall calculates from the reference line. And this reference line is very important to draw walls and plans in Archicad. Because here we can change the direction of the wall based on this reference line. And the thickness of the wall is shown from this reference line. For example, if I change the thickness of the wall from 30 centimeter to 60 centimeter, automatically the thickness of the wall calculated from this line to the number, the amount that we put here. So I'm going to turn it back to 30. Also, we can do the same settings from the 3D view. So if I select this wall, which now is like that because we draw it like that. So I want to turn it back to the normal height. And here, if I change back the story height to 3, now all the walls came down, but this one didn't because in this setting, it's not linked to the next floor. This height is 3 meter. I'm going to put it back to 3 meter and then I'm going to link it to the next floor. Now, if I change the height of this floor again, this wall moves with the other ones. So I'm gonna turn it back to 3. Okay. This is the powerful point of Archicad that I love. You can do all the settings from any view that you can work with. It is not like if you draw a wall on the plan, you cannot change it on the section or in 3D view. The next setting is angle of the wall. The angle of the wall, I didn't use it that much, but here let's talk about it a little bit. For example, if this wall is inclined and it has an angle of the 50 degrees, when you go to the section, it automatically show it like that. Now we have a wall of the 50 degrees of inclination. So I can change it to like 80 and automatically it will change in the plan and also in the 3D view. The last setting that I want to talk about is the surface. The surface is something that we better do it here. I'm gonna select the wall that I want to change the material, and here in this option I will turn on these. But what are these? This is the outside surface. The outside and inside of the wall considered with the reference line. So here our reference line is this one. So it's gonna be outside of the wall and this gonna be the inside. As you can see, the outside material is the same of the cutting the edges. Here we can specify different material to outside of the wall and the interior. But if we want to, all these surfaces have the same material, and if we change one of these, we won't have to go through all these materials here and change it one by one. We can link them together. So whatever you choose for the first one or the other one, it's going to be changed for the other two. So here, for example, I'm choosing this one and selecting, for example, pale jade. All these three going to change it automatically. The last thing that I want to talk about setting of the wall is this one here, the setting dialog. We exactly have the same things that we have here on this window. Basically, here we don't need to open this button to see what options do we have. Also here we will see a demonstration of a wall that how it works in our plan or in our 3D view. And these options are exactly this floor plan and section option that we had here. As you see, floor plan display, cut surfaces and outlines, and each one has 3 sub options. We have the same here. So if you don't want to open this one every time you want to change something, you can do it from here. So let's go through it very fast. We can have that the top of the wall is linked to the other floor or not. If I say it's not linked, the shape will be changed. Now the top of this wall, it doesn't connect it to anything. And here we can change the height of the wall as we wish. Also here we can select that where do we want the wall to be started. So for example, here I can say 1 meter from the home story or from the ground floor. And the home story here is the ground floor that we are working on. Since we are changing the settings for this wall and we changed these two numbers, the height to the project 0 now is 1 because we said that we want to start this wall from the bottom of the wall is 1 meter away from the ground floor or project 0. So I'm going to turn it back to these. Here we have the generic wall, the composite wall, and the complex profile. So we can select it like that. And by each one, you see this shape is changed. Here in the first option, we have a generic wall, which we don't see any details or any lines in the middle. And here we can select what is the material of this wall. Here is the composite, which this is the composite wall, the different layer of each wall, and you can modify the thickness and the material of each composite. And the last one, the complex wall. Here you can select a profile for this complex wall. I'm going to put it back to the generic. So here we have these options too. Here, this is the straight wall. This is the trapezoid and the polygonal. As you can see, you cannot have the composite wall for the polygonal wall, and for the composite wall, you cannot have this type of wall. Here you can modify the thickness of the wall. Here you can modify the inclination of the wall, and also here we have a wall with two different angles for each side. And the reference line also can be changed from here. And also we can set the reference line according to the wall. So here, for example, we can say like 10. And as you see, the reference line has been changed. I'm going to put it back to the 0. The floor plan section, I just explained it a few moments ago. Here on the model, we can change the surfaces and the materials of the surfaces. And this one, we can set up structural functions for the wall that we are drawing. And the last one is properties of the wall, that if it is fire resistant, or how much does it cost to build it. Technically, this part is good for the beam engineers that they want to calculate each aspect of a wall. So basically, this is all the things that you should know about walls in Archicad. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about the story settings, how to set up the height of each level and each floor. And we're going to work with an option named trace, and how we can take advantage of this option. So if you like this video and subscribe to my channel, we can learn, practice, and share everything that we know in the Archicad or other applications with others.